Tonight's broadcast is presented by Visit Maine. It's a beautiful night here in Portland as Hearts of Pine play host to the Richmond Kickers here in USL League One. Alongside the former Guyana international Chris Nurse, Michael Watring with you here this evening. When you take a look at the Hearts of Pine last season versus this season, things are very similar. But if you look back to 2025, it was around this time of the year where they shifted things into gear. 32 points in their final 18 matches, leading to a number 7 seed. Will tonight be the night that they stem the tide and they begin their playoff push? If it's the case, it's tonight's player to watch, presented by Springer's Jewelers, that we expect to be at the forefront. Ollie Wright, 10 goal contributions, second most in the league.
Ollie Wright, Portland's creative engine and one of the least most productive attacking players. He recorded 11 goals and 8 assists last year. He won Supporters Player of the Year, USL League One all-season second team. Excellent at drifting in between the pockets and between the lines and creating chances and arriving late in the box. If Portland are going to lock Richmond's defence, chances are Ollie Wright will be at the heart of it.
If you look at Richmond on the other side, they've scored the fewest goals in the entire USL League One, but interim coach Brian Ownby said that this group is a rhythm team. If they can start a game fast, they can find their rhythm.
Yeah, Richmond don't necessarily need a lot of possession of the ball. What it is what they do with it in transition moments. When they're able to get that go-ahead goal, they then control the rhythm and the tempo of the game, despite not always having the possession. So it's going to be really interesting to see if they get the first goal tonight.
The man that could do that is Tarek Banholzer. Leads the team with 3 goals, but has not scored since early May.
The dynamic German winger who's quickly become one of Richmond's primary attacking threats. He leads the Kickers with 3 goals so far this season with pace and directness. Dangerous in one-on-one situations and likes to attack the defenders when the ball's at his feet. When Richmond have possession of the ball, they'll try to spring with Banholzer in transition. If he gets isolated against their fullback 1v1, he's capable of changing the game in one moment.
Both of these two teams have lost its last 4 matches. Neither side has won since May 30th. Will either of those droughts end this evening? Portland Hearts of Pine and the Richmond Kickers. Kickoff is next.
We move differently here, not in a rush, but in rhythm. We rise with the tide, cook with our hands, and speak when it matters. We pass on what's felt more than said. We laugh by firelight and stop to notice what others once saw. Every moment here means more because nothing is taken for granted. This is Maine, rooted in time, forged by nature.
You might think it's easier to start tomorrow, or next week, or next year. But at Maine Health, we believe your best self starts today. Our local programs and care teams are here to educate and motivate healthy choices and habits, while nationally renowned specialists provide you with leading-edge treatments and personalized care options. We're always on your team, in your corner, and by your side. That's health and care in harmony.
Every save I make matters to my team. Now, those saves matter in a bigger way.
For every save made by a Hearts of Pine goalkeeper, Kennebec Savings Bank donates $100 to youth soccer programs right here in Maine. It's a promise to invest in confidence, leadership, and access for the next generation of players. At Kennebec Savings Bank, we believe in the power of community and the impact of every single save.
Tonight's match is brought to you by Hannaford. Tonight's starting lineup for the Hearts is presented by NBT Bank, and Portland makes 3 changes after a 5-1 loss at Westchester last Friday.
Yeah, we were looking at what the formation could potentially look like for tonight's fixture. It could be a 4-4-2. They could very easily deviate into a 4-2-3-1 with Gonzalo occupying the 10 and Kamara operating at the 9. It's going to be interesting to see how things look like as we approach kickoff.
On the other side for Richmond, they make 4 changes from a 2-0 loss against Fort Wayne. on Saturday, including Josh Kirkland getting the start up top.
Yeah, again, formations could look vastly different from what we're showing up here. It could be a 4-4-2, or they could end up dropping into a 5-3-2, which gives them a little bit more flexibility in having the opportunity to play 3 at the back at times and pushing the wing backs higher and having 2 strikers occupy the 2 centre backs for Portland. So it's going to be very interesting to see how these teams try to match each other out.
It's going to be a fascinating matchup as well for these two groups. Getting ready for this one. Always a pleasant night. 77 degrees and sunny, and the fans are ready for our matchup this evening.
I think one of the amazing things to highlight early on is this is a USL League One game, but listen to the energy and the passion and the intensity from the fans at this stadium. I think it's nothing to be underestimated, the impact that the fans have on the home team.
Soccer at the grassroots level is strong in the United States. And we kick off here tonight. Portland in the white red stripe kits. Richmond on the other side in the blue kits here this evening. So great to have you with us. Michael Watring, Chris Nurse, and our entire team with you tonight. There are 3 League One matches tonight. There is also 1 match in the Prinks Tires USL Cup featuring League One teams out of Group 6. That is Charlotte and Greenville. Chris, what are you watching for out of these two groups over the next 90 minutes?
Well, I think we also have to mention that Scotland are playing Brazil and Haiti are playing Morocco, so I'm sure even the fans who are enthused by what's going on in the country right now with the World Cup playing have got one eye on their phones and one eye on the field in front of them also. I wonder how much Scottish fans are in the stands tonight, or if they're maybe inside at the bar watching Brazil currently 2-0 up at half-time.
Neither of these two sides have picked up a result since May 30th. Portland last won against Spokane, 2-1 that day. Richmond on the other side, they're winless in their last 7. They have not won a match since May 9th, incidentally. And that was the last time that their leading goal scorer, Tarek Panholzer, scored. Yeah,
I think we're looking at two different organizations in their existence right now. You have one who's an expansion club against established club tradition. Portland Pines obviously are still building an identity of one of the newer clubs into USL League One, where Richmond Kickers have been around maybe forever, one of the oldest and most historic clubs in US soccer. I think that's the kind of differentiation. As you mentioned, the results aren't too different, but I think the history between the two clubs is a little bit different. But you look at the stadium tonight and you may consider which one's been around for the longest time, because obviously there's a very passionate and committed fan base here.
Well, it is also fascinating in the dynamic because you have Bobby Murphy, 2nd season with the group after spending time in MLS Next Pro with St. Louis City. Meanwhile, for Richmond, it's a very familiar name on the bench. If you're a USL fan, Louisville City legend Brian Ownby was announced as the interim head coach 9 days ago. And now, after starting the year as an assistant in his first season away from playing, he's the man pulling the strings for a group that is desperate for points.
And it's hard because when you're just leaving the field, maybe you don't have that experience as a coach, especially in your first season. You kind of do need to get some games under your belt as an assistant capacity to kind of learn the trade, learn the nuances, learn the things about individually managing players, because it's one thing where you're a player, you really just manage yourself. You take responsibility for making sure you're in the best condition for training. You make sure that you're eating right and doing the right things for yourself. When you're a coach or a manager, you're responsible for the 24 players plus the staff, plus everybody else that's connected. It's a whole different skill set in terms of managing when you go from yourself as an individual to then managing a group.
It leads us to tonight's keys to the game presented by Pape Chevrolet. What are your keys?
So for Portland, we mentioned, can they turn their possession into chances? It's a team that likes to keep possession of the ball, but can they be meaningful with that possession in terms of creating opportunities to score goals, which they haven't done so well recently. For Richmond, as we touched briefly on in the pre-game, it's a team that doesn't necessarily need to have possession of the ball to feel like they're dominating the game. They play very much in transition, and when they're in transition, can they release Panholzer and can they finish those chances? That's Richmond in a nutshell. So two kind of contrasting styles tonight. It's going to be interesting to see which one ends up being successful.
Well, cleared away by Filion. The two goalkeepers tonight are 1-2 in the league in saves this season. Will that carry over into a game like this? Richmond has faced the 3rd most shots on target this season. Meanwhile, Portland have given up 21 goals for the year, but only 5 in the first half. So let's see if they can hold down the fort through 45. A little bit of pressure here. It goes back to Hunter Morse, number 2 in the league in saves. Filion on the other side is number 1. And that ball given right to Diego Gonzalez. Loops this ball into a pocket. George Elitis cannot quite get the cross off, and it goes back down on the other end of the field. You can see the sun setting on the far side of the pitch. It's a brilliant night for action tonight. And the way that this stadium is built, that sun shouldn't really play much of a factor in the goalkeeping eyes of Jan Filion.
After a disappointing year last year for Richmond, they're trying to navigate some challenges this year with coaching changes, inconsistent results. For Richmond, I think tonight is all going to be about finding consistency and building momentum. It's not going to be necessarily about their style of play. It's can they build on consistency performance and build some momentum going forward in terms of picking up points.
And health is also a big problem for Richmond. They have a bunch of players that are hurt. Only 14 available field players in terms of first-team contract men. 3 of the substitutes available tonight of the 6 field players are teenagers on academy contracts.
And I think it's also important to highlight, obviously, one of Richmond's previous stars, Emiliano Tazaghi, moved from Richmond to Portland. He was a major figure for the Kickers, and now obviously he's playing for their opponents tonight.
A yank, a tug, and a foul finally whistled at midfield. Third meeting between the two groups. Last season, they met in August, a 0-0 draw, in a match in which Portland had 12 shots, but only 1 on targets. Well, give it away. It's Ollie Wright that pounces on top of it. Leaves it wide. Early cross in. Filion smothers.
Early action here for the goalkeeper. Takes his time. Vicious left foot cross into the box, but just nobody able to get connection on the ball and guide it on frame.
The most recent meeting came in September of 2025. It was a 5-2 Portland win. Masashi Wada finished with a hat trick in that match. The first team all-league pick from a year ago is unavailable tonight.
I think the first 15 minutes of this game is going to be indicative of which direction it goes. Obviously for Portland, they're looking to feed off the energy of the fans. Can they control the game? Can they be more dominant and aggressive and get that go-ahead goal? But on the counter, we spoke about Richmond and what they represent and when they're most successful. Pretty poor turnover possession there. Richmond like to get the go-ahead goal, and they're going to need that to quiet the fans down. The energy and momentum that the fans give to Portland is going to be almost like a 12-man throughout the course of the game. However, if Richmond can get that first goal, it's going to create kind of an airy atmosphere inside that's going to put pressure onto Portland, and sometimes that pressure can lead to a lot of mistakes when you try to force things to appease the environment that you're in.
Tonight's injury report is brought to you by Maine Health. Neither side reporting any injuries officially. I did mention the knocks that they have with a little bit of a break coming up this weekend. Teams aren't back in action until the 4th of July weekend. Some just out for the safety of it to try to get them healthy for the second part of the year.
I think as the leagues continue to grow and develop, these away trips have become even harder. There's no easy games in the league in League One anymore. Every game is challenging, and you can see for Richmond Kickers tonight away from home, this is a really challenging fixture. Not just because you're playing against Portland High, but look at the energy and the issues that the crowd bring when you're waiting. You definitely have that 12th man of support, and that has a significant impact on the energy, on the flow of the game, on the confidence of the players in front of their home fans. It really brings an added challenge that sometimes you weren't facing in previous years.
Richmond have only collected 4 road points this season so far, just the 1 road win in league play. This cross loops in, it bounces off of the head Portland defender. And a chance to reset here. Meanwhile, Portland hasn't really taken advantage of being at home. They have the 3rd fewest home points in the league this year, just 9 for the season. But they have only lost 1 time on this field.
Yeah, I think whilst they may not have as much longevity as Richmond kickers, it's going to be interesting to see if they have the maturity and experience on field.
That shot slips through the hands of Morse, and he promptly jumps on top of it.
The experience on the field to manage the games, because good teams know how to win it. Great teams know how to close games, especially when you're at home. Being able to pick up points and win in front of your home fans, it builds energy, it builds momentum, and of course you have a little bit of a advantage when you're at home because this is your home stadium. You're familiar with the circumstances around you, so it's going to be interesting to see if Portland have that within their toolbox to take advantage of the situation and really prove that they can make this home field a fortress.
10 minutes gone by. We are scoreless in the match. We just saw our first shot attempts. Portland and Richmond, 2 teams that have given up a ton of goals during their 4-match league losing streaks. Richmond 7-1 outscored during their 4-match skid. Meanwhile, it's 15-5 for Hearts of Pine. They've allowed at least 2 in each of their last 4. Kirkland tries to slow, unable to do so. Back for Morse. Floats it to midfield. Bodies tangle. Ultimately rolls back once again for Morse. But the flag up for offside and a free kick coming. There is Jeremy Shearer. This is his 2nd game in League One as an official. 3 yellow cards and a red in his first matchup as you take a look at Bobby Murphy.
Well, it's always important to have high expectations of as a new or expansion franchise. I think it's also important to kind of define what success might look like for Portland this year. Maybe it's building a culture. Maybe it's making the home stadium a difficult place for the teams coming to visit, or establishing themselves as a playoff contender, or maybe just continuing to grow the game in Maine. It's going to be interesting to see what do they define as success this season. I think it's challenging to say that already they should be competing to win a championship. I think they can still make positive steps forward as a fairly new team to the league.
Bobby Murphy told us yesterday when we spoke with him that they dealt with a lot of injuries at the beginning portion of the year. They've started to build off of a solid foundation, but he has very little words about some of the meltdowns that they've had in the last few weeks. And he thinks now needs to be the time where this group stops the bleeding of these losses. Barbosa in the middle of the field. Spins it up top. It bounces off of 2 men. 1 by Richmond. Captured right back, however. Poon Angeron wins it back. Direct ball. Loops over the top. Right into the hands, though, of the Canadian Filion. Chance to build now. Numbers flood the box. Anderson puts his arms up. He's the target of this pass. It's well read defensively, though. Richmond resets. Amer. Anderson go back and forth. Austin Amer, 26-year-old Tampa native. Anderson dodges 2 men, flicks it in. A touch. That's down Kirkland, but he's offside nevertheless. Richmond starting to show a little bit of ability to build through the midfield.
Clever ball over the top here from Anderson. Just takes his time, sees the diagonal run, clips over the top. Unfortunately, a little bit too early, finds himself offside, but Portland will try to make Richmond uncomfortable in the early stage of this game and use the energy of the fans to dictate the tempo.
Panholzer, actually, that was slipping in. Brian Ownby saying that he's trying to feed Panholzer a little bit of new ideas on some of the runs. Feels like those can be the ones that can dictate the passes, not the other way around.
And this was something we talked about in the pre-game, was Portland being able to turn their possession into goal-scoring chances. The decision-making in the final third, the number of touches in Richmond's penalty area, and the quality of service into the striker. These are the defining factors that are going to really show if they can turn the possession that they have into meaningful moments in the game.
Kirkland gets tugged, doesn't stop his run though. He cuts back, has Anderson. Advantage still given here.
It'll be interesting to see if the referee brings back and brandishes a yellow card here, because he was running through and he's clearly having his jersey pulled.
And indeed he will. The card does come out, and that one's going to go on Kamali Green. First man to see a yellow comes here in the 15th minute.
Well, the referee made a good choice there, allowing play to continue and then bringing it back. Of course, he lost a little bit of momentum when you pull his shirt. It slows him down, slows down his speed. I think it was the right decision to brandish a yellow card in that situation. You really just need to defend better.
It's a throw in for Richmond. Foul given here. Enter the Frank Tires USL Cup Game Day Kit Sweepstakes for your chance to win a prize pack worth up to $2,000. Scan the QR code on the screen and enter today. Good interchange. Richmond, though, win the ball back. Richmond has been the team that has dictated the possession here early in this one. Greenville and Richmond, the two teams with the fewest goals in the league this season. Kickers into the box. Bounces off the first man. Throw in again for Richmond.
Whilst Portland do have the ball deep in the attacking third, this is where they also need to be proactive defensively and be very careful, because Richmond can be very dangerous when the opponents lose possession of the ball. They're very good on the counter-attack, so this is where Portland have to make sure they're counter-pressing when they turn over the ball. They have good recovery runs from midfield, and they're managing that first pass forward for Richmond. Force them to go backwards, and then you can get your shape and get organised behind the ball. If Richmond are able to win that ball quickly and go forward, it proves to be a big problem.
Portland has gotten off to slow starts consistently. Their last 8 goals have been scored in first half stoppage time or later. Last time they didn't score that late was back on May 9th. Puck scored in the 7th minute against Union Omaha. We mentioned at the beginning how important the first goal would be to these two teams tonight. Brian Ownby admitting that Richmond is a completely different team when things are going their way versus when they're not.
Just to elaborate a little bit and expand upon how Portland need to use the energy of the fans and their possession to be more purposeful. So far, you're the home team, you have the energy, you have the onus. It's on you to bring the intensity of the game. Expected goals for Portland, 0. Shots, 0. Shots on target, 0. Everything offensive in the attacking third for Portland currently sits at 0. A little bit, slightly better with Richmond kickers at 0.02. They've had 1 shot and 1 shot on target. But from an offensive standpoint, with this fan base that you've got behind you, you've got to be exciting the fans by creating goal-scoring opportunities. They don't want to see backwards and sideways passes. They want to see players get into 1v1 opportunities. They want to see shots on goals. They want to see things that bring excitement to the stands. And it's on the players to win the game, but to play in a style that enthuses the fans to continue to bring that energy. Possession currently sits at 56% in favor of Portland and 43% for Richmond. But as we spoke about, it's what do they do with that possession in terms of creating meaningful goal-scoring opportunities.
They finally make it happen here. Georgialidis in. That ball is not cleared very cleanly, and they take advantage. Portland get the opening goal to make it 1-0 on a poor giveaway, a clearance in the middle of the field, and a strike from Diego Gonzalez.
And we spoke about all the things in Portland's favor tonight. The fan base, the home circumstances, having the momentum, and what a fantastic moment to get the go-ahead goal. It's a really poor defensive header here. Ball comes in, it's headed directly into the penalty spot area, and it's just attacked at the right moment with the right energy. And let's be honest, this isn't just a basic header. He directs this well away from the goalkeeper into the upper right-hand corner of the goal to give Portland the lead.
Diego Gonzalez's second goal in the last 11 days. And it's a 1-0 advantage for Portland. Goal brought to you by Oakhurst Dairy.
For Richmond now, the game becomes a lot harder. We spoke about them not necessarily controlling possession of the ball and being very transitional. Now they've got to manage their energy, because without possession of the ball, you end up doing a lot of running and using a lot of energy. Now they've got to turn those transition moments into goal-scoring opportunities while still conserving their energy, because if they go and open up the game, they're going to leave themselves wide open to concede more. So it's going to have to be a mixture of still being defensively organised and not giving away too much, while still going now and aggressively chasing the game now you're behind. And we've already spoken about the energy and the advantage that this home crowd fan base brings.
The first shot of the game goes into the net from Gonzalez.
Yeah, just moments before that we were saying 0-0-0 for everything, and then the first shot ends up being the first shot on target and the first goal of the game. It's amazing how goals can quickly change the momentum or the way that a game may be playing out.
Quickly, it's a foul after the goal, and Portland set up a free kick.
As we spoke about, you have Portland, who are trying to create their identity. Second year in existence in USL League One against Richmond Kickers, who have decades of experience as an organisation behind them.
Well, everybody's ready, but the official and a couple players at the top of the 18-yard box. Still a little more pushing and shoving there.
Set pieces are always pivotal in all levels, but League One, they've become extremely vital moments, often dictating the outcomes of games.
Right, stings it across. Now the reach of everybody, and out for a goal kick.
I think Richmond Kickers will still be kicking themselves about how they gave away that goal. It was a defensive header that was put, instead of heading it wide and away from goal, headed it directly back into the penalty spot area and was punished just because of where the defensive header was directed. Maybe you head that out for a corner, maybe you head it out towards the touchline, but very rarely do you defend and head it back towards your penalty spot.
Portland Hearts of Pine is proud to team up with our Dirigo partners. Visit Maine, Maine Health, Hannaford, Bernstein Sure, Springer's Jewelers, University of South Maine, and Bank of America.
Sometimes in these games you want to talk about the shape and the organization of the team, but at the moment the game's been defined by one decision, or I would say mistake, of where their defensive clearance went to has become the deciding factor right now in the scoreline in the game. It's not so much about the shape of the team. It came down to an individual area, individual decision making that's proved to be the pivotal moment.
Ryan Ownby told us that when things aren't going our way this season, it's been felt, it's been palpable within the group. He mentioned last week against Fort Wayne that they had run out of a few ideas in the attack, and you could see it on the field. Now the question is, how can they respond against Portland down by a goal on a self-inflicted wound? Barbosa glides through the middle of the field. Here's Wright. Barbosa springs away from the first man. So many options. Lays it in. It's Ollie Wright, can't slow it down. It slides past his boot.
if there's one statistic that can bring...
Talk about a poor giveaway. It's Kirkland that picks it up. Kirkland smashes! Josh Kirkland scores the equalizer on an individual moment of brilliance. 1-1 the scoreline as the Kickers tie it up.
He beat me to it. I was just trying to get my words out. Portland haven't kept a clean sheet in 12 games. And you can kind of see why in this instance. A lack of miscommunication between the two centre-backs, indecisive decision-making, and Kirkland just latches onto the ball and makes no mistake in sliding into the bottom corner past the goalkeeper. But this is really poor defending. That could have been a free kick and a red card. He didn't need it. Finished it off anyway. Fantastic finish in the end, but you can see why they haven't kept a clean sheet in so long. Simple defending ends up being a calamitous mistake. Game now tied at 1-1.
Well, for Kirkland, it's his third goal of the season. Finished second on the team a year ago with 8. And now he ties for the team lead. On a 1v2 situation, he scores. So just like that, both of these two teams taking advantage of colossal errors by their opponents. That was 1v2. I didn't think there was any chance that Kirkland was going to get anything accomplished. Now at the other end, a flick, and it goes out for a goal kick.
It was just poor communication between the two centre-backs. Neither of them decisive in what they were going to do, and Kirkland just picked the moment while they're discussing amongst themselves to run in between the two and finish. We were just thinking things were turning in favour of Portland Hearts here, and quickly things unraveled in a different direction. They haven't won in their past 4 games, and looking at those past 4 games, they've conceded 5 against Brooklyn, 5 against Westchester, 2 against Chattanooga, 3 against Corpus. This is a defense that concedes a lot of goals, almost 15 goals in those past 4 games, which is a really, really high amount to concede. So it's going to be interesting to see it. They took the lead tonight. They quickly gave away that lead. It's going to be interesting to see how they defend, but I think there's a lot of things that Richmond can use as motivators and to give them hope that there's still plenty of time left in this game, and this is a defense that doesn't necessarily defend very well, so it's going to be interesting to see how they take advantage of that.
Hunter Morse was given a yellow card during the goal celebration. 1-1 is the score now. It's the 3rd fastest goal allowed by Portland this season. For a team that's given up a ton of goals, that's only the 6th first half goal allowed.
I don't think we were going to see a clean sheet from either of these teams, to be fair. Portland haven't kept a clean sheet in 12. Richmond haven't kept a clean sheet in 7. However, for Richmond, this is there's more positive here because they hadn't scored in their previous 2 matches. They've got themselves on the score sheet tonight.
So it's 1-1. And neither are those highlight-worthy goals. Giveaways leading to those moments. Kirkland darts. Shut down this time around, and Hearts of Pine sweep it away. If this is the sign of what the next hour is going to present, it's going to be an emotional roller coaster for these two fan bases.
I think Richmond lived up to expectations. It's not a team that needs 10 passes to score a goal. They just need a chance. And Kirkland got that moment. He got that chance, and he took it in a heartbeat. Well, he was given, I would say he was given that chance. He saw there was uncertainty between the 2 defenders, and he made no mistake in taking advantage of that moment.
Georgialidis chips. He tries to get back to it. Richmond forced the ball away. That ball bounces in, right chips. Filione catches.
Richmond. You're wondering if they can be clinical in both boxes. Defensively, I say they definitely have achieved that target, given the goal that they gave away and how that goal came around. But offensively, they've been fairly clinical. The chances that they've created, they take, and that's probably one of the strengths of them in tonight's fixture is they may not create a ton of chances tonight, but the handful that they create from, they need to be extremely clinical to be able to determine a positive result. So it's going to be interesting to see if they can maintain that ruthless instinct that they have in front of goal.
Richmond is one of 3 teams in the league this season that has not secured a point from a losing position all year. They have 7 losses in 7 games in which they've conceded first. Conversely, for Hearts of Pine, they've given up 7 points from winning positions this year. That is tied for the second most. Greenville has given up more. Lost 8 from a winning position. At the half-hour point of this one, Gonzalez scored in the 20th minute for Portland. Kirkland answered in the 25th. And that's where we sit right now at a goal apiece. 30 minutes gone by. Michael Watchering, Chris Nurse, and our team enjoying this USL League One match. 1 of 3 in the regular season tonight in League One.
Forcing it a bit there, a little bit too direct for Portland. We highlighted Ollie Wright pre-game, and that's the guy they got to find, the number 10 in the pockets. Everything positive or offensive comes when the ball flows through Ollie Wright. Richmond are going to try and crowd him, they're going to get bodies around him, so it's going to free space for other players. But if he can find time and space on the ball, facing forward, he can really punish.
Anderson down the lane here, and it's picked up by Morse. Turn to CBS Sports Network on Wednesday, July 1st for a USL League One showdown. Spokane Velocity hoping to speed past the formidable Flamingos of Forward Madison at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. Catch all the action on CBS Sports Network July 1st. Will either side take a lead into halftime? A quarter hour to solve that. Sideline. It's well handled here on the cutback. The shot rolls in, and Filion stymies the chance. That was Jaden Jones-Riley along the right side.
Some nice work from Jones-Riley on the right-hand side to create a goal-scoring opportunity. Everybody probably thought he was going to try and curl it to the far post, but he tries to catch everyone away and come to the keeper's near post. And Filion reads the body language well. He's able to get down quickly and make the save, but good work here from Jones-Riley. Probably didn't connect with the ball as sweetly as he would have liked. You can see here he kind of scuffs it a little bit. But good offensive play from the fullback on the right-hand side for Portland. As we spoke about pre-game, it does look like Richmond are playing a 5-3-2 up against Portland's 4-2-3-1, which does give them an extra player in the midfield, outnumbering them 3-2. It's going to be interesting to see how they use that numerical advantage as the game progresses.
Seufert. Richmond get a chance to build. Each team with 3 shots, each team with 2 shots on target so far. Here's Wrights. These are Springer's Jewelers player to watch. 4 goals and a league high 6 assists for the year.
You can see where Richmond are a little bit more content to just sit back, allowing Portland to have that possession of the ball. But it's possession that's not essentially hurting them right now. As we spoke about, if they can use this possession to find right in the pockets, where he's in time and space and can face forward, that's where they're going to be most threatening. That's going to be on the onus of Kamara and Gonzalez in the middle of the park to be able to receive the ball facing forward and break those lines with those penetrating passes.
Ball bounces inside of the box. Again, it's not well handled. The cross goes in, and it skips into the hands of Filion.
Wasn't a bad idea again. I think there could have been a little bit more composure on the final pass into the box. Ends up being straight to the feet of the defender, when if the ball's played into space, it's wide open there for the attacker to sprint and finish the play. Sometimes in the attacking third, it becomes more important to play the pass into space where players can sprint and finish first time, rather than trying to pick out feet and find players standing still.
First half have been a major sore point for Richmond this year. They've given up 12 first half goals this season. That's the second most in the league. And 10 of those 12 have come in the opening 25 minutes, including tonight's goal when Gonzalez scored to make it 1-0 in the 20th minute. Kirkland tied it up in the 25th. You can watch the USL on ESPN2 on Thursday, July 2nd for a USL League One clash. Newcomer Athletic Club Boise look to defend home turf against reigning League One champion One Knoxville. Thursday, July 2nd, 9:30 p.m. Eastern on ESPN2. Anderson plays this into space. O'Malley. One of the 4 changes tonight for Richmond. Loops it back. Amer. Powell. Seufert. Anderson bobbles, juggles, and loses. Chance to break out of the pack. It's a nice touch here along this right sideline, and Georgialidis can't control it along the edge.
Strong defensive challenge there from Howell. Puts the ball out of bounds when it looks like Portland were about to counter-attack themselves. We spoke about maybe Richmond using Panhauser as their outlet, winning it and trying to spring him straight away. We've not really mentioned his name too many times in these opening 35 minutes.
Hasn't quite been involved in the first 35. This man has. Josh Kirkland plays it through. Seufert. Excellent touchback from O'Malley. Panholzer plays it back. Bodies tangle. Loose ball. Advantage for Portland as they break. Georgialidis. The goal scorer, Gonzalez. Georgialidis once more steps on it. Nobody making runs. Finally, Gonzalez bends it in. Sent away. Second ball across. Filion catches.
Portland did try to counter-attack there quickly, but Richmond had a good number of defenders behind the ball there and able to snuff it down and delay the play fairly quickly.
Like promising attacks for both sides. Neither were able to take advantage and produce a shot. This is a foul. We're going to get a yellow card back behind the play as well. And this one is going to go on Austin Amer. He's going to be the first Richmond man booked tonight.
I think the referee's done a good job of having the intent to try and allow play to continue rather than just blowing the whistle and stopping it when the team in possession has advantage of the ball. He does it again here. He allows the play to continue, but then when it goes out of play, he brings it back and rightfully issues a yellow card. Cheeky little nutmeg here.
The yellow card to Austin Amer is brought to you by the law offices of Joe Bornstein. Richmond, during its 7-match winless run, has been outscored 18-3. They've been shut out 5 times. But tonight they are level, closing in on the halfway point. This free kick Spins through the sky, skims the head, rolls off of the corner flag and up the field for a throw instead of a corner.
The game plan we expected to see from Richmond hasn't really panned out. You know, we expected to see Panholzer sprung quickly in behind when they had possession of the ball. Or maybe the ball played up high quickly into Kirkland and Kirkland being able to hold up possession of the ball and bring Sufu or Panholzer into play. Neither of those things have really happened too frequently in this opening half for Richmond's kickers.
Long throw in, hits the first head, bounces past the leg of Howe. Had a great look at it for the 21-year-old to try to open his account, but couldn't quite get the sneaker on it.
Yeah, you were just looking for who was attacking that far post when the ball was just bouncing around there, screaming for somebody just to come on and hammer it towards goal. There was nobody there and ends up going out of play and away from danger.
This is a Richmond team that has by far the fewest touches inside of the opposition box this year. 40 fewer than Chattanooga. Third fewest shots on target, but that is starting to change. They have at least 5 shots on target in 5 of the last 8. And that has led to a winning formula overall for the season. Lorana, throw it. Select is proud to be the official match ball supplier of the USL Championship. From the grassroots to the pros, Select is there every step of the way. Visit us.select-sport.com for the latest Select products, specials, and more. Select, the player's choice. Kirkland bounces it off of the first defender. Throw in here in the final few minutes of the first half that has seen 6 total shots, 4 shots on target, evenly split between these two teams, as are the 2 goals so far. Gonzalez in the 20th minute, Kirkland in the 25th. Aiden Anderson gets this throw. Once again, trying to push this into the box, gets it deep into the 6th, and that is a very nice catch by Hunter Morse to slow that one down. And I've wondered, with some of these long throws that teams are employing, how long will it take for goalkeepers to make plays like that and ensure that it doesn't hit anybody else's head?
Yeah, I think the main thing for Morse here is he doesn't just come out and punch the ball into no man's land. He's able to come out, collect the ball and keep his team in possession. It's completely different. Sometimes goalkeepers come out and they flap and they punch, and possession immediately turn back to the opponent. It's completely different when the keeper's able to come out, get 2 hands on the ball, settle things down and keep possession for his team and restart the attack.
Richmond restarts its attack. And a foul. This time it's Seufert that takes the contact. The German native who has played in Germany, Austria, and Norway before joining Richmond for his first season in the United States. And a quick restart. Rolls out harmlessly for a goal kick. Final couple minutes here this first half. We've seen 3 yellow cards, 2 to Portland, 1 to Richmond. And for a long window of time, we did not see a whole lot of attacking. But then we had 2 quick goals in the 20th minute from Portland, 1 in the 25th minute from Richmond, where each side defensively will go back at the teach tape and think that they could have prevented both of those goals.
Some World Cup scores updates, not that you need them, you're probably already checking it yourself, but Brazil currently leads Scotland 3-0. And Haiti now find themselves down to Morocco after taking the lead 1-1. It was taking the lead 1-0, it went to 1-1. Haiti took the lead 2-1, it went to 2-2. Morocco now have the lead 3-2 going into the final 10 minutes of those games.
Oh, that's a brilliant touch. That ball gets headed in. Barbosa ends up committing the foul. It was such a good touch on this right side by Konstantinos Georgilidis. Couldn't quite find the right pass, however. Good ball here. Ollie Wright's on it. Tries to bend it past the defense. There are a couple defenders there, and the one that ends up carrying it out allows a corner kick.
Wright probably could have just been a little bit more patient in that final pass there. Tries to play it quickly, not really giving his offense time to get up and support him.
Corner kick presented by the County Federal Union. And now Ollie Wright will leave this ball for Diego Gonzalez, former Houston Dynamo product. Still just 23 years of age, has been playing professionally since 2022. It's his first season after joining the Dynamo Academy at the age of 12. Moves out of Texas for the first time to play with Portland. 3 minutes of first half stoppage time brought to you by Springer's Jewelers. Corner kick lofts across, headed outside of the 18, and Richmond sends it away.
It was a good corner kick too, whipped in towards the far post. It looked like the header was actually about to creep inside the post, but it was heading off the line. Wasn't quite able to see who was there with the goal line clearance, but good opportunity there for Portland in the dying stages of the first half to get the go-ahead goal from a dead ball situation or set piece, which we spoke about being pivotal.
That's a shove and a foul. Barbosa commits it.
Referee sending the ball back to where the infraction took place while giving Barbosa a strong talking to about his challenge from behind. Probably fortunate not to find himself in the book, and the referee's giving him the benefit of the doubt, but if he does that again, I'm sure he'll be the next one to receive a yellow card. There's been 5 dished out. I didn't realize so many have been dished out. There's 5 yellow cards so far in this first half. Both keepers have yellow cards. I missed that. Was that for taking too long to restart?
I don't remember the Filion yellow card. It's a poor giveaway. Doesn't hurt them at this point. Long cross, Georgialidis hooks it in.
It's a great delivery into the box. There's nobody attacking the far post.
One man was even in there. That was Kamara. Here's Barbosa. Threads the needle. Kamara grabs it. Barbosa continues his run. Barbosa trickles it just wide. Nearly had his first goal in the U.S.
Fantastic play here. It starts with Barbosa, and it probably should have ended. It's a great disguised pass here. Gets out his feet, but just lacks the composure in front of the goal. Everything was fantastic in the build-up play. He plays it forward. He carries on his run. Gonzalez does well to control it and play the disguised reverse pass. But Barbosa just lacking the ability there to just control it and slot it into the corner. Instead, he kind of loses his foot and slashes at it. But good build-up play there from Portland. Deserving of a goal, but just not quite able to take advantage of it.
No doubt the best build-up we've seen from either team so far, and it's the last that we will see of the first half. 1-1 is the score at halftime. What are your thoughts?
I think it's been a fairly even game, to be honest. I think that Richmond have managed it well being away from home. The energy of the fans, they managed to keep themselves in the game. Portland probably having a fantastic chance there to take the lead going in at half-time, but we spoke about possession they have. Can they create meaningful goals opportunities? Maybe they have created them, but they haven't taken them.
Halftime in Maine, and it is a goal apiece so far. Tonight's halftime is presented by Hannaford. 1-1 is the goal margin right now. Will it lead to a thrilling second half featuring a winner between two teams that have lost 4 straight? Step out for a break. Halftime is next.
This is the boot that started it all. When you think of LL Bean, you think of the Bean boot. LL, our founder, was an avid hunter and fisherman. He wanted to develop something that could keep his feet warm and dry. Since 1912, 113 years ago, the Bean boots are still handmade right here in Maine. We have so many variations of the original Bean boot. We literally have a Bean boot for everyone, every type of style.
This spring, invest in your nest with the County Federal Credit Union. Your home has grown in value season after season. With the county's 10-10 Home Equity Line of Credit, you can borrow up to your credit limit over 10 years with interest-only payments over those 10 years, 10-10. And then you can stop and smell the roses, soak up the sun, and invest in your nest. The 10-10 Home Equity Line of Credit, the County Federal Credit Union, countyfcu.org.
Halftime here in Portland. It is a 1-1 margin at the break here in Maine. Let's take a look at the upcoming matches for these two groups, and we begin with the upcoming schedule presented by Bank of America for Portland Hearts of Pine. Two of the next three will be on the road, including that one match, or excluding that one match, rather, against New York Cosmos. It would take a lot for Hearts of Pine to reach the knockout stages of the Frank Steyer's USL Cup, but it's not impossible. If Westchester can beat Hartford, Brooklyn can lose to Rhode Island, there might be a possibility to sneak in there into the knockout stages for Hearts of Pine. On the other side for Richmond, it's a fascinating Frank Steyer's USL Cup right now with how things are sorting out in Group 6. They take on Greenville Triumph in their next matchup, and that game currently in the Frank Steyer's USL Cup has Greenville and Charlotte 0-0. Otherwise, friendly. Two of the next four are at home. Two of the next three in league play. So that's where we sit right now in our matchup. It is Portland and Richmond, tied at a goal apiece here in this matchup. We'll step out for a break. More to come around the corner.
Sometimes the waves are calling your name. Other times you think the waves are calling your name, but actually it's the kids.
This summer, get 1,000 bonus points and a chance to win 250,000 bonus points.
Pain doesn't care who you are or why you hurt, but pain can be mastered if you know the way. Fight back with Tiger Balm's legendary herbal power. Trusted for over 100 years, our proven blend of camphor, menthol, and essential oils tames pain with the strength and speed of the tiger, so that you can rise above pain and get back to living. This is the way of the tiger.
We all have goals. But let's be honest, most of us aren't going to be professional athletes. But if your goal is to finish your degree, we can help. Come to a university that puts your goals first. Bellevue University, your partner in finishing goals.
Hay mucha fiesta, señor Martino. Hay sed de revancha, doctor. Pero falta gol y estamos a esperar a Hugo. ¿Hugo Sánchez?
Sí, tira para adelante.
¿Quién maneja? ¿Un futbolista? ¡Súbete! ¡Llegamos por fin! ¡Ay, bendito sea el chofer, doctor! Hugo, ¿regreso a las canchas? ¿Algún consejo?
Sí, confía y cree en ti.
¡Ey! ¡Pasa al norte! A donde me dé la oportunidad, pero listo para dar el paso. ¡Listo, vamos!
This is your moment.
Allagash White. Citrusy, smooth, tastes like it's naturally occurring here in Maine. Allagash, from Maine with love. Allagash White. Citrusy, smooth, tastes like it's naturally occurring here in Maine. Allagash, from Maine with love.
Our score is tied at a goal apiece here at halftime. Presented by Hannaford, Portland, and Richmond. Level at 1 goal each. Tonight's out-of-town scores are presented by Visit Maine. There are 3 matches in the regular season here tonight. We're about a half hour away from Corpus Christi taking on AV Alta, and then an hour away from Spokane and Westchester in the Prince Sires USL Cup. Group 6 meeting between Charlotte and Greenville is scoreless 25 minutes in. Charlotte controls its own destiny in the USL Cup. 6 shots to 1 right now. They have the fewest games played, 5 points. Charleston leads the group with 8 points so far. But scoreless in that matchup so far in the first half. Let's step out for a break. We'll take a look at what's going on around the entirety of the USL, as well as a glance at the first half highlights when we return here to Portland in a moment.
It is halftime in League One. We hope you're enjoying the match so far. I'm Dan Lucas inside the USL studio with a look at the headlines. With first place Union Omaha hitting a rough patch, the top of the table is now crowded. One Knoxville defeated Spokane Velocity 3-0, extending its unbeaten run to 4 matches. Now, One Knox sits 1 point behind Omaha. Charlotte, Independence, and AV Alta also closing in on the top of the table. Speaking of hot streaks, Fort Wayne FC unbeaten in its last 10 League One matches, the second longest streak by a first-year club, and Tig Healy has goals in 7 of those 10 matches, adding to his dream rookie season campaign. And we mentioned Charlotte's rise in the standings. One of the biggest reasons is the play of Luis Alvarez. Alvarez has goal contributions in 7 consecutive matches, 2 shy of the League One record. 2024 Young Player of the Year is the Golden Boot leader with 9 goals. Upcoming national spotlight games next Wednesday, Spokane and Forward Madison on CBS Sports Network. A night later, it's AC Boise and One Knox on ESPN2, and then a USL Cup group finale on the 11th, San Antonio hosting Chattanooga Red Wolves. This is the USL Halftime Update. Let's get you back out to your match.
We love it here. Here is the smell of fresh bread, good food at the table, a familiar face behind the counter, where we pick up right where we left off. Right here is where all the good happens, because here is home.
It's hard to believe that Tom's of Maine natural toothpaste can remove 95% of surface stains while protecting your enamel. But if nature can make a lake pink, you better believe a natural toothpaste can make your teeth white.
It's incredible.
Nature is full of surprises. Tom's of Maine White and Plus toothpaste. Never underestimate nature.
We would not have a business today if it weren't for the support of the many, many people within the Richmond community. To me, we're working as a team to enhance the quality of life for all residents.
It's about being the best that you can be. It's about enriching the lives of people in your community. There's a reason why we have the tagline Nourish, because it's really about nourishing the lives of the people that work for us and the people that we serve. That's what the UCROPS brand stands for.
I'm David Libby, President and CEO of Town & Country Federal Credit Union. At Town & Country, we work hard to make a difference every day. From providing a first auto loan to that young adult just starting out, or making the dream of home ownership a reality with a mortgage offering closing costs well below nearly every other local lender, or a Visa credit card with a great rate. Town & Country Federal Credit Union is local people helping local people. Let us help you.
Tonight's halftime is presented by Allagash. Let's take a look at our first half highlights presented by Bernstein Sure. 1-1 is the score, and it was early in this game. Now, the first shot was uncorked, but it was handled by Hunter Morse. And there really wasn't a lot of these chances that were generated by each team, but when the chances were generated, sometimes it would be because of mistakes. In the opening 20 minutes, it's a good cross in, but a poor clearance.
Good ball in behind here. Delivery into the box, and here should be heading that away for Danger. Not sure what he's thinking when he heads that back towards the penalty spot. It's a fantastic assist from the defender, but what a header past the goalkeeper. Makes no mistake guiding that into the upper 90. Gonzalez gives Portland the 1-0 lead.
6 minutes later, it seemed like this was going to fizzle out in a hurry. Two central defenders back. Josh Kirkland, though, pounces on it and scores.
Look at that indecisiveness, the lack of leadership between those two centre-backs, and Kirkland makes no mistake, latches onto it, slots it into the bottom corner, levels things up 1-1.
And that's where we stood after 25 minutes, and we finally got another chance late. This was the best football that we saw in the first half, but Barbosa just stumbled.
Yeah, two or three players connecting to get together here. It starts with Barbosa, he plays it forward, gets laid off to Gonzalez, plays a beautiful reverse pass, and at the pivotal moment there, he just loses his composure when he just sort of slid it into the corner, slashes it wide of the goal.
Halftime stats are brought to you by Town & Country Federal Union. And this is where we look right now. Portland did uncork some shots. They didn't take their first shot until the goal. And then they ended with 5 in the final 25 minutes of play. How do you see half two playing out?
It's going to be really interesting. It's going to be interesting if Portland come out and again use that fan energy to drive on in this second half. But as we spoke about with Richmond, they're still very much in the game. They're a counter-attacking team. They don't need a lot of possession to create goal-scoring opportunities. They're very happy to counter-attack or set pieces or mistakes and punish you. And that's their game plan. So it's going to be really interesting to see which team really takes this game by the scruff of the neck in the second half. I think the next goal is going to be vitally important.
Chance for us now to take a look at our standings, brought to you by Allagash Brewing Company. And this is how the bottom of the table looks right now. 16 points for Sarasota in 11th place. And both of these two teams are trying to get out of the bottom right now. You see Richmond with the -8 goal differential, Portland with the -5 goal differential. To get above the playoff line, it's right now 20 points is the barometer. Spokane Velocity sit at that point. But I mentioned at the outset, a slow start to the season last year. For Portland, they finished with 32 points in their final 18 and snuck in to the postseason as the number 7 seed in the League One playoffs. Will something similar happen this year for one of these two sides? Brian Ownby just took the job as the interim coach for Richmond 9 days ago, while Portland on the other side is looking to respond after this slow start to the year. Both groups have lost 4 consecutive games. Neither team makes a halftime change, so it'll be the starting 11s that we saw here to kickstart half number 2. And Richmond does not have a lot of depth. They only have 6 field players available off the bench. 3 are on academy contracts for this evening's affair. Great vantage point here. The fan base in this brilliant stadium here in Portland, Maine. Excited for half 2. So the second half kicks off in a 1-1 match, Portland and Richmond. Richmond in the blue kits. It's the white and red stripes for Portland Hearts of Pine. Michael Wattrang, former Guyana international, Chris Nurse, and our entire crew watching this one with you. Who gets the upper hand here in this contest, in a 1-1 contest in USL League One, before about a 10-day layoff for the league before things restart next weekend?
It's interesting because we really highlighted Ollie Wright as being the key man for Portland in that first half. But I would say that Gonzalez definitely showed up as a player who's having a key impact in that first half, where he'd been himself getting the go-ahead goal or providing that assist for Barbosa that should have put them 2-1 up ahead. He's been pivotal in some of the best moments going forward for Portland in that first half.
Another man that was quiet for Portland was Abubakar Kamara. Had the fewest touches on the field with just 9 in the first half. Nobody had fewer than that in half number 1. Here goes Murata. Curls it across. Defenders get back, but this pass rolls to the penalty spot and has to be sent away. Salivating was Panholzer, but cleanly handled by Portland.
How do I say it? The jersey numbers for Portland are a little hard to see when you're a little bit further away, right? Something about how they blend into the jerseys that make it a little bit more challenging to see the numbers on the back of the shirts.
Throw in comes. It's headed aside. The bouncing shot once again sent away, and then a long distance effort sizzles over everything and onto the track back behind the field.
Good connection on the volley, just lacking a little bit of accuracy.
Well, the second half is where things have unraveled for Portland this season. They've given up 16 second half goals this year. Only Sarasota has given up more in 2026 USL League One. Can Richmond take advantage for a team that has scored the second fewest second half goals, with just 5 on the year? Gonzalez curls. Ball bounces. A collision. No whistle this time around. Richmond control. Murata. Leighton, who made that mistake in the first half. Plenty of space here in the midfield and a long run going. Nobody slowing this one down until it gets inside of the box, and Morse has to sprawl out to snare it.
Just lacking quality in that final delivery. He wasn't near any of his teammates in the box, and fairly straightforward for Morse to deal with in the end. Portland, they've done a good job of getting into dangerous areas. It's going to be now whether they're able to get that final pass or the final finish when they do get into that attacking third. As we saw with Barbosa in the dying stages of the first half, really good opportunity, but just unable to take advantage of it.
There is Barbosa slowing it down, giving it to Wright. Expect Wright to have more of a say in the second half.
I say if there's one improvement I've maybe seen from Portland, is that when they've attacked, normally they do throw a lot of bodies in the box and they can be very exposed defensively. They've done a good job of maybe having a little bit more defensive balance in this game, have made it difficult for Richmond to catch them on the counter-attack.
Maybe a little bit because Richmond have attempted the third fewest shots on target in the league this year. A team that is trying to find that goal-scoring punch. The fewest goals in the league, just 11 through 12 league matches entering the night. Barbosa blocks that out. Throw it. Barbosa takes that ball to the head. Just trying to get the ball up the field, and Seufert ends up blasting it off of the Portuguese native.
Be interesting to see if he does suffer a little concussion here. It's such a close range and into that temple area in the side of the head. No doubt he'll be a little bit dazed from the contact. In this situation, it's always the player who will say they're fine and ready to continue, but it's really up to the medical staff to make a decisive judgment without taking the emotions of the game into consideration and really deciding what's best for the health of the player in this situation.
And there's no doubt a initiative within the officiating community. As soon as that happens, stop play, make sure that the players get the required medical assistance to make sure that there isn't anything worse. Bobby Murphy is tossed on the hoodie.
As the game progresses and Portland maybe become a little bit more aggressive in front of their home fans, it's going to be interesting to see if they do become more vulnerable at the back and they try to push those fullbacks a little bit higher and defend with less numbers. And also, as we normally expect around the 60-65 minute mark, who do they bring into the game to bring that fresh energy and that fresh push, essentially, if the game is still a level peg, to go ahead and try and get that go-ahead goal.
Ball bounces inside of the box, a looping cross in. Here's Ollie Wright, touches through two defenders, holds on to the ball through a third. Leighton finally bobbles, bicycle kick from Kamara, and it ends up out. It looked like we were going to have a goal of the year candidate brewing, but in the end it ends up high.
Yeah, it was some great improvisation here from Wright. He just sees the two defenders and just takes a beautiful touch in between the two. Fantastic composure. It just bounced off his thighs and wasn't able to get the shot off. But there you see that creativity that he brings inside the box that not many players think of in that moment. Most would have just ran it in and tried to smash it, and it would have ricocheted off the defenders and gone out. But you can see that dangerous instinct that he has in and around the 18-yard box.
Sun pretty much a non-factor now after it was piercing this side of the field in the first half.
Okay, you see that differentiator with Richmond building with just a back three, but when they drop out of possession, they quickly shift into a back five. It's going to be interesting as the game progresses to see if they start to throw those wing backs a little bit higher and more aggressive in search of that go-ahead goal. But away from home, it's a big risk to take. There's some places where you go in some games where a point on the road is sometimes as good as a win, and that may be the case tonight for Richmond, given their form, given the fan base here, given the circumstances. A point may not be the worst result in this situation over the longevity. When you look at the longevity of the season and the league table, it could be more of a point gained than 2 points lost.
And certainly for the status of the team right now, dealing with some injuries. This ball's given away. It's O'Malley with it. Panholzer dribbles in. Panholzer pounds. The defender sagged off, gave him a seam to take advantage, and he misses it high.
Yeah, exactly that. The defenders stand off him so much, they almost entice him to take the shot, which is not something you want to stop players from taking shots, not allow them to take the shots. Three players dropping off him here instead of closing him down, put him under pressure, and he recognizes that he has time and space. Naturally, he takes that space up with his first touch and tries to get the shot on target. Had it been lower and on frame, I think he has a good chance of scoring there, but he kind of slashes it, ends up going high and wide of the goal.
With soccer season in full swing, SeatGeek is the official ticketing partner of the USL. Get all your USL tickets and more from the #1 ticketing site, SeatGeek, your ticket to great seats.
I think we're seeing the game become a lot more stretched at this phase than it was in the opening 20 minutes of the game.
Flag up for offside. Here's Barbosa on a good combination. Rolls it up. Filion clears.
Hardly. He should have cleared, you're right, but he didn't really get a great connection on the ball there. Didn't get the ball away from danger whatsoever.
That has been the theme of the match so far in this one. Neither side decisive in their clearances.
The next 5 or 10 minutes feel really important. Obviously, fatigue will start to kick in, and then around 60, 65 minutes is when we start to see managers generally start to bring in substitutions and players who they feel need a rest, or players coming in from the bench who they feel can have an impact on the flow of the game.
Portland, no doubt, a deeper bench here available this evening. Good pass, threading it through. Kirkland sees Fay spread out and get it away.
It's really going to be a moment of quality or a mistake that's going to define this game right now.
Georgialidis reverses. Barbosa. Georgialidis threads the needle. Jones-Riley circles, connects, right leaps, right smashes. A quiet first half and a loud introduction to half two. Ollie Wright's team-leading 5th goal puts Hearts of Pine in front 2-1.
We were just saying a mistake or a moment of brilliance would define the game, and it's Barbosa here. It's a beautiful pass in behind. Breaks the last line at speed. There's no slowing him down. It just hangs up at the far post. Wright gets up nice and early. There's no beating him once he's that high that early. And the man who we met as the player who can create for others becomes the goal scorer, giving a massive 2-1 lead going into the final 35 minutes of this game.
Ollie Wright only had 9 touches in the first half, the fewest of any player on the field. And he provides a Portland goal brought to you by Oakhurst Dairy to make it 2-1. And now 11 goal contributions for the year. He's 2 behind Charlotte's Luis Alvarez for the most in League One in 2026.
He had the fewest touches, but he has the touch that's made the biggest difference. And you could say the fewest touches could be down to Richmond doing a really good job of marking him and making him in positions where he can't get on the ball as frequently as he would have liked, or he just wasn't taking up positions that were that impactful throughout the course of the game. But his timing of his run to the back post, his timing for his header, being in the right place at the right time, and he has to give him some credit for delivery to the far post. It was a beautiful delivered cross. Another fantastic moment in the game for Portland. Now, can they seal this result? Can they lock this down, given they had the 2-1 lead going into the last 8 minutes of the game in front of their home fans?
Portland trailed 1-0. Or took the lead, rather. 1-0 on the Gonzalez header. They conceded the equalizer 6 minutes later. How do these next 10 minutes play out against the Richmond side that is winless over its last 7, 6 losses out of those 7, and they've given up now 2 or more goals in 7 of the last 8.
Yeah, and Portland also, I think we highlighted they conceded 15 goals in their past 4 games, so that's an average of 4 goals a game. They've only conceded 1 tonight. If they're continuing that trend, there's still another 3 goals that could potentially end up in the back of the net. So it's going to be interesting to see if there's a shift in mentality to continue maybe using offense as the best form of defense, or if they try to sit back a little bit more and protect their lead.
Gonzalez had space. He crushes it high.
Gonzalez has been good tonight. Him and Wright, we have to give them both credit, to be fair. I think Gonzalez has taken the pressure off Wright. Wright was quiet and Gonzalez came to life. I think the two of them kind of match yin-yang. One gets shut down, the other one comes to light. The other one gets shut down, the other one comes to light. So I think there's a good partnership between the two. You can't take your eye off either of them.
And Ollie Wright has finally found a home. Bounced around with San Antonio, RGV in the USL Championship. Had a couple years in MLS Next Pro with Huntsville City. But has called a place his home, as he has now posted a goal or assist in 10 of his last 13. And this is cheeky. Wright with a rush.
You can see the confidence and the change.
Nearly an own goal. It falls loose, and it's a goal. Konstantinos Georgialidis takes advantage of a miscue from Richmond to make it 3-1. 2 goals in 3 minutes for Hearts of Pine.
I don't know if it's Thanksgiving or Christmas has come early, but this is an absolute gift. A sitter. You couldn't get an easier goal than this. But again, it's that defensive headers that has proved to be the Achilles heel for Richmond in this game. Again, it's right, teasing ball into the box, but I'm not sure what he's thinking with his header whatsoever. He's not heading it away. His keeper's had to make a save to keep it out the back of the net. The header from Howell here. And then it's thank you very much at the far post. An absolute gift for Georgia leaders, who says thank you very much. In the space of 5 minutes, the game has absolutely flipped on its head from 1-1 to now Portland have a pretty comfortable 2-1 lead. And we spoke about maybe they concede 4 goals in each game, now have a 2-1 lead. I see them taking control of this. I think that Richmond have created their own problems with poor defending on 2 occasions, 2 headers that have led to goals for the opponents, 2 defensive headers that have led to goals for the opponents. And I think they have to do much better defensively to compete in this league. That, for me, that's really poor defending.
Goal brought to you by Springer's Jewelers. Georgia leaders is brought to you by Oakhurst Dairy is the goal. Georgia Leadus scores for the first time since the season opener back in March at New York Cosmos.
If you're Fillion in goal for Richmond kickers, you'd be pretty mad at your defense, to say the least. The first goal, your centre back heads it back to the penalty spot. The third goal, you're having to make a full stretch save from Howell from a defensive header, and both of these turn into goals. Needless opportunities given to the opponents. Away from home, you don't really want to concede those type of opportunities. You don't want to give goals to the opponents when you're away from home. You want to defend resolutely. You don't want to allow easy goal scoring opportunities. If they're going to score, they really have to work for it. And they've given Portland those opportunities in front of goal. They've not necessarily made them work very hard for it. Portland have just been in the right place at the right time, put pressure on the ball, and that's been the defining story of the game.
Richmond are making its first change of the match. Tyler Freeman coming in for Owen O'Malley. Substitutions brought to you by Springer's Jewelers.
Coming into the match, number 23, Tyler Freeman. Into the match for number 12, Owen O'Malley.
Can't watch the match? Turn on Sirius XM FC 157, North America's only 24/7 source for engaging soccer talk, including USL All Access on Tuesday nights, plus hear live matches from the USL, MLS, Premier League, and more, all on Sirius XM FC 157 and the Sirius XM app.
In the space of 5 minutes, Richmond kickers just capitulated, and everything has gone from being in the game and competing to being way out of it now. Two goals down away from home. In the blink of an eye, they found themselves on a mountain to climb with just a little less than 30 minutes remaining in the game.
Officially, it is 3 minutes and 36 seconds, or 3 minutes and 30 seconds, rather, apart are the 2 goals.
And you now feel that sense of energy, that shift in momentum, that confidence in favor of Portland. It's complete different energy inside the stadium.
Richmond had given up 2 second-half goals in their first 12 matches of the year. They gave up 2 in 3.5 minutes here tonight.
10 shots for Portland in this game, 5 shots on target, 3 of those becoming goals. On the flip side, Richmond just 5 shots, 2 on target, 1 of those becoming a goal.
Most importantly, 9 of the 10 shots for Portland have been inside of the penalty area. Only 2 of the 5 for Richmond have been in that area. Richmond only has 10 touches inside of the opposition box. With 25 more minutes to go, they need to find some answers.
Yeah, we know 90% of goals are scored from inside the box, so Portland are getting their opportunities in the areas where goals are scored. Harder part is I'm not sure Richmond have the depth on the bench of players who have the capability to come in and change this game when you're 2 goals behind.
Landon Johnson is 19 years of age. He has a goal on the season. Otherwise, nobody else has scored And the two players that aren't teenagers are defenders. Ollie Wright just picked up a yellow card for kicking that ball off the field.
That makes what, the 6th yellow card of the night? It's not really been. It's not been that type of game, that chippy, aggressive, tenacious matchup. It's kind of been I wouldn't say friendly, but a fairly played game from both teams. To have 6 yellow cards, it's a little bit surprising to say the least, given the way their match out has played out.
Does Richmond have any kind of response in this game? Here's Freeman, funnels in, Morse gobbles it up. eFootball is here. Live your dream, rep your team, and play as your favorite USL Championship club. eFootball is free to play. Download it now.
For Portland, I'd say now, seeing your defensive record over the past 4 games and how many you conceded, 1 is more than enough. Now your focus as a group, as a team, should shift to locking it down and not allowing any more goal-scoring opportunities for Richmond. For Richmond, it's how do you get yourself back into this game? Number 1, you cannot give up competing. You still got to show the mentality, the competitiveness, the determination to compete right up into the very, very final whistle. You've seen where they currently are in the standings. They're languishing at the bottom, so they've still got to continue to work on that mentality and the competitiveness and that resilience to be able to try and turn things around late in games.
Soyford fires in this corner. Marana angles it high this time around on that County Federal Union corner kick. Foul given up here.
This has been a decent performance from Portland tonight. They've taken the opportunities that they've been given, and that was one of the things that we spoke about. Could they create meaningful opportunities or convert the opportunities that are given to them? And Richmond have given them opportunities tonight, and they've taken them. So you have to give them credit. You would have liked them to have to work a little bit harder for the goals that they've scored, but you take what's given to you, and they've definitely done that tonight.
2 goals that Richmond will feel like are preventable. After the night, 2 defenders making mistakes that set up chances for Portland this evening.
22 plus stoppage time is still a decent amount of time to play, I think.
This ball whips across, smashed down by Fay, picked up by Filion.
I think for Portland, they have to find a balance of staying aggressive but not becoming reckless. There's a danger of dropping too deep now and just defending for the next 30 minutes rather than trying to stay on the front foot. I think they have to try and find a balance. They don't want to invite Richmond to continuously attack them wave after wave, but they also don't want to commit numbers forward and get caught on a counter-attack and be left wide open. So they have to find that balance now between continuing to be aggressive and attack, but also becoming defensively more solid and a little bit harder to beat.
Marana carries it forward here in the final 21 minutes. Richmond trying to inch closer, trailing by 2 after we were tied at 1 at halftime.
And we spoke about maybe Portland being a possession-dominated team and Richmond being transitional and a little bit more direct. I think they've lacked a little bit of directness in this game. You see they're 2 goals down and they're playing the 5-yard, 10-yard passes in and around the halfway line rather than trying to get the ball forward.
That ball rolls in. Kamara takes a touch past the keeper. Kamara crushes the cords. Three second-half goals in 12 minutes Hearts of Pine have blown this game wide open. 4-1 leaders.
Devastating attacking here from Portland. From the pass, the splitting part, penetrating pass in between the two defenders, to the composure from Cameron behind here. Just watch the first touch here. Takes it past the goalkeeper and then never in doubt with a second touch. So fantastic passing behind again. Great first touch. Very ruthless. They've been so clinical in the offense. One of the things that we questioned before the game, and they've answered us in abundance in this game. We spoke about, can they excite the fans? Can they bring in them entertainment? And they've done all of that in the second half with a number of goals, a number of chances created. And it's all been about forward-thinking players, receiving on the half-turn, playing balls in behind the defense, runs in behind, and having the quality to finish. Fantastic from Portland.
Abubakar Kamara's second goal in as many games, presented by Oakhurst Dairy.
We spoke about the balance of attacking versus defending, and Portland definitely haven't taken their foot off the gas when it comes to being offensive. Now for the remaining 20 or so minutes, you're expecting them to have longer spells in possession, to slow down the restarts of the game, to try and make Richmond chase the ball. The longer they keep possession of the ball now, Portland, it drains a little bit more belief and hope from Richmond for the remainder of the game. So this is now how they go about managing the remaining 20 or 25 minutes. It's just controlling the tempo and draining the energy and belief out of Richmond.
Each team made a change after that last goal. Substitutions brought to you by Springer's Jewelers. Mateo Kidd replaces Ollie Wright for Portland, while Richmond brings in the 19-year-old Landon Johnson, replacing its goal scorer, Josh Kirkland.
Fresh legs at this stage can be as valuable defensively as they can be going forward. You have players who have the energy to track back, but they also have the ability to make those penetrating runs in behind and create more chances.
For Portland, it is a regular season high, 4 goals here tonight. And the most goals that they have scored in a match since October 21st, when they beat Spokane on this pitch 6-1.
If Richmond are going to make this interesting, I would say they need a goal in the next 5 minutes to make the remainder of the game challenging. I think it's running away from them fairly quickly. They've got to push their wing-backs higher. They have to play more direct into Kirk. We were speaking about it just as the 4th goal went in. It actually came.
Kidd connects, it bounces. It's a really good touch. Urana defends very well.
The 4th goal came from Richmond losing possession of the ball, playing the possession-dominant game, and it was actually Portland who hit them on the counter-attack for that 4th goal. So they was actually getting beaten at their own game, I would say, Richmond, in that moment. So to get themselves back in, they've got to try and continue to find Panholzer. We've not seen much of him into tonight's game. And they've got to get additional attackers into the game off the bench, and they've got to be forward thinking. They've got to be more direct than they're being now, with just maybe 20 minutes max left in the game.
You know, for Brian Ownby, Blue City's all-time leader in assists, not used to being on the wrong side of score lines like these after playing for Louisville City and scoring so many goals in that time. And he'll have a little extra time to get the Roop ready for next week's return to play against Sarasota at home.
Yeah, I think the danger is, as Richmond now throw numbers forward, they're going to be exposed defensively, and Portland have proven that they can be dangerous on the counter-attack also tonight. So they're going to have to watch out for that space that they leave behind as they go chasing on, trying to make this score more credible. 4-1 is a blowout, to say the least.
Two changes for Portland, brought to you by Springer's Jewelers. Mikey Lopez, the veteran, comes on the field with JT Kamara, replacing Georgialidis, who had a really fine night. A goal and an assist tonight for Georgialidis, and Poon Angeron is also coming out.
Substitutions, Hearts of Pine in the 75th minute. Number 11, JT Kamara. Coming into the match for number 21, Konstantinos Georgialidis. Also, number 5, Mikey Lopez.
Well, you're seeing the depth differential that these two teams have. Mikey Lopez has been around a long time. Played most recently for Birmingham, 130 appearances there in the USL Championship. And JT Kamara has experience in MLS Next Pro as well as Sweden. Here goes Josh Drack. Drack detonates, and it's sent aside by Filion for a corner kick here, presented by the County Federal Union.
Even with Richmond being 3 goals down.
That ball clips across, a tug of the jersey, and Filion steps in front.
Panhoser remains a player capable of producing something out of nothing, so they can't afford to switch off yet, Portland.
Moore steps out, gobbles that ball up.
I think as the game creeps on, you're going to start to see a little bit of frustration kick in from Richmond.
The USL Championship and League One are on CBS Sports and ESPN platforms all season long. There's live matches and expert analysis every day on the CBS Sports Golazo Network and ESPN+. Go to USLChampionship.com or USLLeague1.com for the complete USL TV listings. Kid underlaps. This ball springs in. Drack heads that away. There were 2 men slithering in behind. Murana. Good read. Drack once more. Covering a lot of ground here over the last 5 minutes. Well, 7 shots on target tonight for Portland. That makes it 4 times in the last 6 matches that Richmond have faced at least 7 shots on target.
Portland have been ruthless in this second half. After going into the break 1-1, they've scored 3 unanswered goals and completely taken control of this match in front of their home fans.
It's a sight for sore eyes if you're a Portland fan. Losers of 4 in a row. Looking for the first win since May 30th. And 3 goals to the good right now, with about a dozen minutes plus stoppage time remaining in front of a packed house here in Portland, Maine.
I think some of
this ball rolls into the box. There is space here. Left-footed shot. Great convergence to knock it down. And the second chance from Freeman ends up out of the park.
Great chance for Freeman here. The first shot's blocked, but the second bite of the apple that he gets, he really should do better. At least force the goalkeeper into a save. He just slashes it over the crossbar from maybe 10 yards out from goal. You'd expect him to at least hit the target there. I think the main difference for Portland in this second half has been the quality of their finishing and decision making in and around the box has been outstanding. They've made Richmond pay for every lapse that they've had in the second half.
Bobby Murphy was just shown a yellow card.
We identified Richmond's biggest threat being the counter-attacks, and Portland managed those moments fairly well, to be fair. One of the impressive aspects of their game tonight has been how quickly they reacted after losing possession of the ball.
Need for a quick reaction there. It's a quick restart and in the attacking third. Here's Freeman getting to the touchline. Freeman tucks it back all the way to the penalty spot. Morse sprawls out and one hands it aside. Second shot attempt ends up in the bleachers, and on his 50th appearance for the Hearts of Pine, Hunter Morse comes up with a clutch save in the final 10 minutes.
Great save here from Morse, and it's a fantastic cutback as the defenders retreat, anticipating the cross is going to come across the face of goal, just cuts it back towards the penalty spot. One player dummies it, And I actually thought he probably could have a little more conviction when he strikes. He just tries to pass it into the corner, gives the defender a chance to get back. And Morse, outstretched hand, parries it away. It's not actually Morse, it's cleared off the goal line. Morse wasn't able to get a hand onto it. It's a match-winning clearance there, to say the least. You have to give credit to the focus and intensity defending, despite 4-1 ahead. Still very resolute defensively, and we spoke about, can they do better in terms of not allowing goal-scoring opportunities for the team, so defending better and clearing those opportunities or blocking shots. And they've come up and answered those questions with the answer yes.
Richmond made a change at that last situation. Substitution brought to you by Springer's Jewelers. Hayden Anderson subs off. Daniel Moore comes on.
Gonzalez definitely giving Ollie Wright a run for his money tonight on being one of the most dangerous attacking players in the league. He's influenced everything positively going forward for Portland tonight from start to finish in this game.
Kamara. Once after that, JT spins Leighton. JT tosses it in. Far sideline. It's picked up. Kidd loops it back in, and that ball spikes off of a boot and goes out wide.
You know, when the energy and the confidence is riding high, when you start to see players taking each other 1v1 in attacking moments like we're now starting to see from Portland. We didn't see this kind of 1v1 energy in the first half, but now you see them enjoying the game a little bit more. They have that pressure release from them. They have a 3-goal margin, being a little bit more creative and free in how they approach the offense.
Two more Portland changes. Jaden Jones-Riley, who has an assist tonight, subs off, as well as Diego Gonzalez, who had a really good shift this evening. The two are replaced by Tyler Huck and Esteban Espinoza.
Sometimes changes can have a negative impact on the chemistry and cohesion of a group. With Portland leading the game by 3 goals, of course, they can afford a little bit more deviation in that. But as we spoke about, they still want to see out the game defensively. I think the next 15 minutes is all about professionalism. So you need those experienced players on the pitch who know how to manage games, who know how to see the game out. Can they keep possession? Can they avoid unnecessary fouls? Make the substitutions at the meaningful minutes that slows the game down, and be able to finish the game with a clean and composed performance. For Richmond, it's different. You know, the realism is this game is probably out of their hands, but can they continue to show character and continue to compete and build some positive momentum heading forward to their next match? That's the realism for Richmond at this game. Unfortunately, yes, there's 10 minutes left to play, but I think to score 3 or 4 goals now may be one stretch a little bit too far.
A team that will take a 10-day respite, riding a 8-match winless run in which they've lost 7 of 8, and now they've been outscored 22-4 in that time.
Yeah, I think the scoreline 100% reflects Portland's dominance in this second half. The question mark is, can they show this level of performance on a consistent basis? They conceded 15 goals in their previous 4 games, but they've been good tonight. So now can they use this as a building block to continue to go forward? I still think defensively they're a little shaky. There's moments that they cough up opportunities, just like here. Either find the pass or clear the danger. They turn the ball over to Richmond deep in their defensive third, which is completely unnecessary. I think this is where they've got to continue to grow if they're really going to be a championship caliber team. They've got to be more ruthless. Well, they've been ruthless offensively. They've got to be more ruthless defensively.
Have not surrendered a shot on target in the second half. And they steal this ball. Kamara dashes past the first man, rolls it into the path along this left-hand side. That's Huck playing it forward. Kamara back on it. He tries to spring it past the keeper. Instead, Filion steps out and stops.
You can feel the confidence flowing through this Portland side right now. And the crowd can also sense it also. They're watching one of their most complete performances this season, and it's come at home. So I'm sure they're enjoying this game.
Nobody is left. Enjoying the scene here tonight in Maine on a comfortable June evening. Ball ends up rolling out of the reach of Sean Vinberg.
I think the goal conceded and how they conceded maybe takes a little bit gloss off this performance for Portland. But I think if you're looking for a statement performance or a shift in momentum, this is it. Against one of the league's traditional clubs, they responded well after half-time with composure, attacking quality and maturity. Scoreline says 4-1, but it's the manner in which they've gone about the performance that's really had a big improvement on previous weeks, and I'm sure the coaching staff are very happy with that.
Their highest goal-scoring game of the season.
For Portland, this is the kind of result that builds belief in the locker room, in the organization, in the fan base. They haven't just won the game tonight. They've shown that they can respond to adversity after conceding and going up and then conceding, and the results that they've had in previous weeks. To come out and dominate this performance like this has shown against an experienced opponent, as we spoke about the legacy or the history of Richmond kickers, should really enthuse and motivate these players and the staff to kick on to another level.
Yellow card shown after this foul. That's on Beckett Howell. Joins the long list of players that have been booked this evening.
Seven yellow cards.
Yellow card brought to you by the law offices of Joe Bornstein. One of the two other league games going on right now in League One. Corpus Christi and Avialta are scoreless past the quarter-hour point of that matchup. And much like ours was tonight, a slow start, just 3 total shots in that game. And if you remember back to the beginning of this game, we didn't have a shot from Portland in the first 18 minutes until Diego Gonzalez scored the goal in the 19th minute. But it was quickly responded to by Josh Kirkland in the 25th minute to make it 1-1. As Richmond tied the score and sent us into halftime, level at a goal apiece. Then the second half happened and things changed in a big way. Richmond had only given up 2 second-half goals all season long through the first 12. They gave up 3 in 13 minutes. First, Ollie Wright in the 57th minute with a header. Then Konstantinos Georgilidis scored in the 60th. And then Abubakar Kamara made it 4-1 with a 70th minute goal, his 4th of the season.
We spoke about the unique atmosphere here. You can listen to the crowd. They stayed behind their team all night and they've been rewarded with one of Portland's best performances, most convincing home performances, I would say, of the season so far.
Barbosa gets a yellow card here in the 89th minute, brought to you by
Yellow card issue, Hearts of Pine, number 18, Diogo Barbosa.
He is the 4th different man to be booked in this game for Portland.
And he's been good tonight, both in winning ball, intercepting, being a presence in the center of the park, making things happen offensively. I've been impressed with him. Of course, it would have been nice to see him get himself on the score sheet with a chance he had at the end of the first half, but he's been a very industrious job in the middle of the park tonight for Portland.
Bobby Murphy said that he is the kind of player that they were lacking a year ago, a physical presence that can cover ground. They needed a player that they could trust in the middle of the field, and he has filled up all of those boxes here in 2026 as we hit the 90th minute.
I think this win is going to be a huge boost for Portland from a confidence standpoint, but I think it also sends a message to the rest of the league that a home field advantage is a real bonus to them here.
It's been that kind of night for Richmond, a restart, and a couple touches and the ball errant out of play.
For Richmond, there'll be some lessons to take away from this. They feel they were in the game at half-time when it was 1-1, but the second half was vastly got taken away from them.
It's normally the second half that slips out of the grasp of Portland, giving up 7 goals after the 83rd minute this season. Most in the league by far of any team in USL League One. Stoppage time is presented by Springer's Jewelers, and we have 4 more minutes to go. And here we go again. Portland a chance. Huck hooks and over everybody. Kid was right in the middle of the box. He wanted that ball. It never reached him as it went over his head. A throw in, though, for Portland.
You'd expect just a little bit more quality in that final pass. But I think barring something extraordinary here, Portland are about to secure all 3 points in an impressive fashion after a tightly contested first half. They separated themselves with quality and composure and clinical finishing in the second half. This has been the kind of performance that they can build momentum on as the season progresses.
Marana. Barnathan. Reached the 10,000 minute mark a month ago in USL League One for the former 3rd round pick of FC Dallas. Long ball across the field. Chance rolls up top. Trying to find space, unable to do so. And a good slide tackle to get it away. Corner kick. Corner kick presented by the County Federal Union. That corner sizzles past everybody, takes a skip, and gets sent away. Kidd. 2 men collide on the top of the field. Instead, Kidd goes 1v4 and rethinks his thoughts and resettles with a minute to play. That ball skips in, rolls out. Corner kick presented by the County Federal Union. It bounces in, and it's another. Why not? Abubakar Kamara makes it 5, and the celebration continues in Maine. A brace for Kamara, and a 4-goal win over the Kickers.
We spoke about the Kickers finished the game with pride and focus and determination. This is everything but a quick delivered free kick, a mistimed clearance, and Kamara just at the near post says thank you very much. Despite being tightly marked, is able to get the shot off into the back of the net. Absolute convincing 5-1 victory. Schoolboy defending from Richmond Kickers. They've got to do much better. For Portland, exceptional performance tonight.
Well, that's the final whistle as well, and a decisive performance here tonight. It was 1-1 at halftime, but 4 second-half goals provide Portland a much-needed win after 4 straight losses and a 5-1 win here tonight. Let's take a look at tonight's Save of the Match presented by Kennebec Savings Bank. And You thought it might be Hunter Morris. Instead, it's that back line rising to the occasion here.
Yeah, normally we expect the goalkeeper to get saved of the game, but it's actually Frey who gets back here. The shots beat the goalkeeper. He anticipates it, gets away to the line and clears it away from danger. Fantastic instinctive defending from Frey. Only adds to the second half performance that they did so well offensively. Defensively, they were very good in the second half also.
That makes it a 1 goal allowed in this one as we take a look at our play of the match presented by Visit Maine, and it's that 4th goal of the game, Kamara doing the work.
I think it starts here with Kamara linking up the play, the timing of the running behind, the first touch past the goalkeeper and being ruthless with the second touch. Conviction and decisiveness in the actions, and we asked if Portland could be more decisive with their possession, create more goal-scoring chances and convert those chances, and the answer to that question after a 5-1 victory is yes, they can.
Our man of the match is presented by LL Bean. Diego Gonzalez led the team with 3 chances created, and he scored the first goal in this match in the 19th minute.
Yeah, I thought that the 3 quarters of the game that he was on the pitch, he was instrumental in everything going forward for Portland. Wright was a little bit quiet in the first half, came to light, came to energy at the beginning of the second half. I had 2 pivotal moments, but I thought Gonzalez was fantastic tonight in the game. Either being creative and getting the first goal to go ahead and just being a nuisance in the middle of the park, making things happen, picking up dangerous areas. So I think he well deserves the man of the match performance tonight.
Portland wins for the first time since May 30th, snapping a 4-match skid. Richmond loses for a 5th consecutive game. Our final score brought to you by the University of Southern Maine. Portland 5, Richmond 1. We're back to wrap things up here from Maine in a moment.
Watches have always held a special place in the way we mark accomplishment. Even long before wristwatches existed, watches were treasured belongings, passed down from one family member to the next. If you're celebrating a milestone or creating one, we'd love to help you find the timepiece that marks it. Visit us in store, try on your favorites, and let's find that timepiece that will tell your story for years to come.
This is you. When you sign up for Trellis Health, this is your team. Seriously, these people. At Trellis, your primary care provider, physical therapist, pharmacist, health coach, and behavioral health clinician work together for better results. With same-day visits and 24/7, 365 telehealth, your care is primary with us. Become a member today.
Welcome to Trellis Health.
Visit trellishealth.org.
At PAPE, we've dedicated over 50 years to making sure you do better. That means better prices you can always count on. It means you'll find extensive inventory. It means you can expect top-notch service. And most of all, it means you'll work with a team that listens to what you need and makes it a priority. So why are we so driven to make sure you do better? Because at PAPE, the only thing we love more than cars is people.
One of these 2 teams were looking to end a 4-match losing streak tonight, and it's a 4-goal win for Portland Hearts of Pine. Final score brought to you by the University of Southern Maine. Michael Watring, Chris Nurse, and our team back with you here as we look back at the full-time highlights presented by High Roller Lobster. And defensive mistakes really played a key role in this one. And it started here. Sam Layton failed clearance, goes right to the middle of the field. Diego Gonzalez, a good header.
Yeah, you see the defensive header ends up being the key pass or the assist pass for this go-ahead header from Gonzalez. Says thank you very much into the top of the goal. 1-0 Portland.
But 6 minutes later, it would be a mistake on the other end. 2 central defenders there. Josh Kirkland slips past both, able to regain his balance and score to tie it at 1.
Calamitous defending here, and Frey was able to redeem himself later on in the game, but just the indecisiveness and lack of communication between the two gave up this opportunity to Kirkland, who again said thank you very much, slots into the side net, and the game was tied at 1-1 going into half-time.
That's where we were until the 57th minute. Jaden Jones, Riley, a good cross, and there is that man, Ollie Wright, his 5th of the year.
Hangs it up to the far post. Wright gets up nice and early. You can see how high he gets up here with his vertical jump, nods it into the back of the net. Pivotal moment, 2-1. This is where Portland started to stretch and take the lead.
And this is where the game completely changed. 60th minute, 1-goal game. Massive mistake from Richmond, and Konstantinos Georgilidis is there to pounce.
Some nice play in the build-up, but again here, Wright delivers this cross. It's not really dangerous, but the header here forces the goalkeeper into an outstretched save. Georgilidis at the back post says thank you very much, buries it. It's a comfortable lead now for Portland.
And then it was Georgialidis setting the stage in this sequence. A great ball in. Kamara shifts past the keeper and scores.
You can see it starts with a Kamara. He plays it, carries on his run. First touch past the goalkeeper. Second touch decisive into the back of the net. You can see he's enjoying this one with his celebrations.
Kamara would add one more in stoppage time. It comes off of a quick corner. Nobody's paying attention. Nobody clears, and Kamara scores.
Snooze, you lose. At this point, Richmond are already sleeping. Ball's whipped into the box. A very, very poor attempted clearance, and Kamara's right there. Diverts the volley on frame, in goal. Convincing 5-1 win for Portland.
Richmond had a bunch of shots in the second half, but only one on target, and it is a fine performance from Portland Hearts of Pine in this one. 9 shots on target. Richmond has some questions to answer next week.
Yeah, sometimes the score tells the whole story, and tonight it does. Portland have been better, or were better team in every phase in the second half, turning a 1-1 game at halftime into a convincing 5-1 victory.
Those are our full-time stats presented by Maine Health. Portland get the victory, and now they'll be off until the 4th of July weekend. And they take the victory by a 5-1 margin. They've now won 2 of 3 all-time meetings against Richmond, and they have scored 5 goals in each of their 2 wins. 5-1, the tally here tonight. For my partner this evening, Chris Nurse, and our entire crew here from Maine, I'm Michael Watrang signing off as Portland Hearts of Pine beats Richmond Kickers 5-1. Thanks so much for watching USL League One. Good night, everybody.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League cannot be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the express written consent of the United Soccer League.